Welcome to Power System Laboratory. Today we are going to see experiment based on transmission line. In this experiment we are going to see how voltage will change from the sending end to receiving end, and also we will calculate the ABCD parameter, surge impedance, propagation constant and surge impedance loading from the transmission line. And also we will see how we can incorporate the 400 km transmission line into this panel. So this panel having 400 km transmission line. So how we can able to design this also we are going to see in this experiment. So let's see the aim of the experiment. So our aim of the experiment is to study the voltage profile of a transmission line and effect of shunt reactor compensation, measurement of ABCD constant, characteristic impedance and propagation constant of a transmission line. So we will study all those things in this experiment. So in this experiment we will study the voltage profile, and in the voltage profile we will see effect of the shunt reactor compensation, and also we will calculate the ABCD constant. We will measure the ABCD constant, and from the ABCD constant we will calculate the characteristic impedance and propagation constant of the transmission line. So before that we need a certain number of apparatus to do the experiment. Let's see what are the apparatus we need. But in our setup, which is available in this laboratory, we are having a transmission line simulation study unit. So you will study all the things related to transmission line in this panel. So that means all extra things like relays and meter sections and all those things, extra things are there. So according to our aim of the experiment, we have to use certain numbers of apparatus which is available inside the simulation study unit panel. So we need whatever the apparatus. Let's see what apparatus we need. We need a 80 km transmission line model. So here this section is the transmission line section, this section is the switch section, and this section is the auto transformer, relay and RLC unit section, and this section we can control the transmission line parameters from this section, and this is the measurement section. So in this transmission section we are having 80 km transmission line 1, 80 km line transmission line 2, 3, 4, 5, like 5 sets of transmission line having 80 km length we are available here. That means our 5 quantity is available inside the transmission line. Then we need a RLC load box. So RLC load box, these are the RLC load box 1, RLC load box 2, and this is the switches of the RLC load box 1, and this is the switch of the RLC load box 2. So here we will control the each RL and C values, and here we have to use the terminals of the RLC. And we need a DSP based power analyzer. These are the DSP based power analyzer. So this black box is nothing but the power analyzer, and we need a single phase auto transformer. So this is the auto transformer. Here auto transformer is used to feed the voltage to the transmission line. So this is the terminal of the auto transformer, and this is the auto transformer. So here we will vary the auto transformer position, so that here voltage will vary, and that will be according to as per our requirement. And the secondary auto transformer is there, which is not needed in this experiment. So like relays are there, which is not needed in this experiment. So these are the extra things. If we will do that experiment where relays and this will be used, that case this all things will be used. But in our experiment we need a auto transformer, we need RLC load box, we need a transmission line and some power analyzer to measure the voltage, like that. So if you will see, long line causes special problem in power system, and the voltage at the receiving end may rise on no load or light load beyond permissible limit, but on load voltage may drop below normal, and the phase shift may become excessive large and lead to stability. So what happens that if we will see this phasor diagram, then during light load, means no load or light load, so this is the load current and its magnitude is very less, assuming load is a inductive load. Basically loads are the inductive load. So assuming load are inductive and this is lightly loaded, means the magnitude of this load current is less, and due to this long length transmission line we are having significant effect of this charging current, because in a transmission line whenever we are laying out the transmission line at higher voltage and longer distance, what happens, the capacitance which is created between the transmission line and earth, that capacitance creates some charging current, and that charging current will be significant if we will having a long line transmission line, means long length transmission line, then this IC will be significant. So if IC is more compared to the load current, then the resultant current if you will see which is leading in nature. If the resultant current is leading in nature, then corresponding to current if you will draw the sending end voltage, this is the IR drop and this is the IX drop, then we are having Vs is less than Vr. That means receiving end voltage is more than the sending end voltage, which is also nothing but the Frantic effect, and in this case this receiving end voltage will be more than the permissible limit. This receiving end voltage rise will be more than the permissible limit. For example, a transmission line is designed for 220 kV and its receiving end voltage is going beyond 300 kV. That means all the insulators, whatever the apparatus used for 220 kV, if we will use 300 kV or more than the permissible limit, what will happen? It may damage the transmission line. So that should not happen. So because that is not in our control, because load can vary from no load to full load. So what happens when load varies due to the capacitance effect, we are having the Frantic effect. That means receiving end voltage is more than the sending end voltage. Similarly, in the other way, if you are having more heavily loaded, as you can see, this is heavily loaded, so magnitude of I load is more, but the charging current will remain same. So with the same charging current, same capacitive current and high magnitude of load current, if we will draw the resultant current, which will be lagging in nature, as you can see in the phasor diagram. And in this case, what happens, if this is lagging in nature and this is IR and this is IX voltage drop, then as you can see, the receiving end voltage is less than the sending end voltage. So if the receiving end voltage is less than the sending end voltage, that also receiving end voltage is below permissible limit. If it is going down, it is also creating the problem. And in two cases, where Frantic effect case, no load case and fully loaded case, in two case if you will see, magnitude also varies, magnitude of VR or VS is varies, as well as angle between this VS and VR, which is nothing but the delta, that also varies. Here delta is more, here delta is less. So that means power varies, load varies means power varies and delta varies. So if you will see this P delta curve, so this delta varies as well as power varies. So if in this case, there we know that there is a delta critical is there for particular value of load. If delta will vary like this, if delta will swing like this, from excessive swing will happen. So what happens, at last delta may cross this delta critical and it will go to instability section. The system will be unstable. So that also happens if we don't control the voltage. So that thing we will study here. So in this experiment, we are having a transmission line demo panel, and that is a single phase transmission line, because we are assuming that each phase is symmetry. So that in that way we have to do only one phase analysis. So three phase will be similar to that. So here a transmission line which we are having in our experiment setup, we are having single phase transmission line, and that is a demo panel. Demo panel that is of 400 km and 220 kV transmission line we are having. So we are having 400 km and 220 kV transmission line. So how that 400 km will do inside a laboratory? So that means there is a demo panel we are having. So what is there? Let's see inside the panel what is the apparatus or parameters are there. You can see here, this is the 400 km transmission line, means as I told you, this is the 80 km transmission line, this is another 80 km transmission line, this is another 80 km transmission line, this is another 80 km transmission. Like this 80 km transmission line is modeled as a pi section. So as you know, pi section, this is one limb of the pi, this is another limb of the pi, and this is the upper horizontal line of the pi. So RL, C1 and C2. So this RL, C1 and C2 is 80 km transmission line. R2, L2, C3, C4 is another 80 km transmission line. Similarly 5 numbers of 80 km transmission lines are there, and if we will connect all 80 km transmission line in series, so it will become 400 km transmission line, and its rated voltage is 220 kV. So how this 220 kV 400 km, this long distance transmission line is only in this small panel we are incorporating? So as we know, in a transmission line only this R, L and C, these things are there. So if you are having R, L and C of that value which is having in the real transmission line, then we can tell that this is a transmission line. This will also reflect same behavior as the original transmission line will behave. So as you can see, this is transmission line 1 80 km. If we will do all in series, we will get the 400 km 220 kV transmission line. So whatever voltage you will get in terms of volt here, that same thing will reflect in terms of kilovolt in the real transmission line. That means this is the model of a transmission line. So once we are doing a model of a transmission line, that means whatever the voltage changes in volt or whatever the current changes in ampere, that same thing will reflect in the real transmission line in terms of kilovolt or kiloampere. If that is reflecting, then we can tell that this is the model of a transmission line. So this is modeled for the 400 km and 220 kV transmission line. That means all the parameters per kilometer of resistance is designed here, so that 80 km is able to perform, and you can join 80 km to make the 400 km transmission line. So there is a situation where over voltage at intermediate point along the line are higher than those at the end of the line. In such cases, it becomes necessary to calculate a profile of voltage as a function of distance to determine the maximum over voltage as well as their location along the line. So if we will see in the transmission line, before laying out the transmission line, we have to do all the analysis. What will be the effect, what will be the voltage in each segment of the transmission line. We have to analyze this in the experiment section, and when we laying out, same thing will come. So in a transmission line, as I already told you, due to Faraday effect, this receiving end voltage will be more than the sending end voltage. But if we will compensate the receiving end voltage and will make the sending end and receiving end equal, still there will be a voltage which will be more than the permissible voltage in between the transmission line. That means it may be after 80 km, it may be after 160 km, maybe after this third line, we may get higher voltage which will move more than the permissible limit. So to know that whether the voltage is rising more than its permissible limit or not, we have to do the voltage profile of a transmission line. So what happens after doing this voltage profile of a transmission line? What we can conclude, that we can conclude that where the voltage will be maximum in the transmission line and in which position of the transmission line we have to connect the compensation unit. That means we know that once transmission line is designed, we know at the receiving end we will get the higher voltage. But if the voltage is higher in the receiving end, that doesn't mean voltage is not higher in the middle. So that means we have to look at each segment of the transmission line, that where voltage is going more than the permissible limit, because in each segment we are having the insulators or high voltage apparatus designed for the 220 kV line. So if the voltage will be more than 220 or more than the permissible limit of the insulator, so at any point in the transmission line it may fail. So that's why we have to ensure that voltage should be within the permissible limit in the sending end as well as within the permissible limit in the receiving end as well as in between the transmission line. Switching surge voltage transient are an important factor in insulation coordination studies of overhead transmission line. In such studies, over voltage are normally obtained at the sending and receiving end of the line. So in most instances, over voltage are most severe at the end of the line due to combined effect of incident and reflected wave. In the last slide we studied regarding the voltage changes due to the variation of load, but right now voltage also will changes due to this insulation coordination. When any surge will come, like any switching surge or any lightning surge will come, due to that surge that surge will travel throughout the transmission line, and due to that high voltage of surge and this incident and reflected wave of the surge, we may get experience that higher voltage at the receiving end or higher voltage at the middle of the transmission line or any terminal of the transmission line where the insulation changes. There we may experience some higher voltage of the surge, and which will be dangerous for our high voltage insulators, because whenever the surges is there, that is also having higher voltages, that is more than the 220 kV. That is more means more than the 5 times or 10 times the our rated voltage. So what happens during that? We have to protect the transmission line. So for that we have to also study this wave, incident wave, reflected wave of the transmission line, because this voltage variation is not due to the load, but this voltage variation is due to the surge of the transmission line, switching or lightning. So since a transmission line is symmetrical, so measurement of open circuit, short circuit impedance is enough to determine ABCD constant. So this ABCD constant we have to calculate the surge impedance, loading and propagation constant and surge impedance. To calculate these parameters, we have to calculate the ABCD parameters. So ABCD parameters, that parameters which is nothing but propagation constant and the surge impedance is needed in case of analysis of this reflected wave, incident wave, surge wave. We have to, for analysis of this surge wave, which is doesn't depend on the load, to analysis that we need this surge impedance loading, and we need this surge impedance, and we need this propagation constant. We need this parameter to calculate this to analysis of surge impedance, mean how much voltage will vary if we are having this amount of surge. For that we need this surge impedance loading, we need this Z0, and we need the propagation constant. These are the factors we need to get the surge parameters. So to get this delta, which is nothing but the propagation constant, and this surge impedance, which is nothing but the Z0, we have to calculate the ABCD parameter, because from the ABCD parameter we will calculate that surge impedance or the propagation constant. And to calculate the ABCD constant, we have to perform the open circuit test and short circuit test, and from the open circuit test we will get the open circuit impedance, and from the short circuit test we will get the short circuit impedance. And this open circuit, short circuit, we can also get directly A, B, C, D by using the sending end voltage, sending end receiving end voltage, sending end current and receiving end current. By using these 4 parameters, we can also able to get the ABCD parameter. But that is theoretical. But in practical, a long transmission line, that is 400 km transmission line, that means when we need a sending end voltage, at the same time we also need the receiving end voltage, which is after 400 km. So if we measure that 400 km, that voltage, receiving end voltage, we may get some error or some, that is not feasible practically. So practically which is feasible, that from the sending end we have to calculate the parameters. So for that what we have to do, we have to do open circuit test. In the open circuit test, we have to open circuit the receiving end and we will measure the parameters of the sending end, and the short circuit test we'll short circuit the sending end and we'll measure parameters of the receiving end, sending end. We'll short circuit the receiving end and we'll measure parameters of the sending end. That means we only measures parameters of the sending end. Receiving end only we are doing short circuit or open circuit. So which is practically feasible in a long transmission line. So using that ZOC and ZSC, we'll calculate ABCD. So we know that ZOC is the ratio of A by C and ZSC is the ratio of B by A, and also we know the transmission line is symmetric, so A will be equal to D, and for passive network A D minus BC equal to 1. So using all this equation we can able to calculate the ABCD in terms of this ZOC and ZSC. As you can see, A will be ZOC divided by ZOC minus ZSC root, and B will be A into ZSC, and C will be A by ZOC, and D will be equal to A. So if we know the ZOC and ZSC, we can also able to calculate ABCD, and once we know ABCD, we can calculate the surge impedance, which is nothing but root over B by C. We can calculate the propagation constant lambda, and this is lambda into L, means total transmission line lambda. That's why lambda into L. General lambda is represented per kilometer. So it is whatever we will get cos H inverse of A, that will be a propagation constant of whole line. This is not in kilometer. This is propagation constant, for the whole line. So lambda L we will get. Then we will get the surge impedance loading, which will nothing but the V square by Z0. Surge impedance loading will be V square by Z0. So once we know Z0, we can able to get surge impedance loading. And the important factor we just have to see, that's why surge impedance loading you have to calculate. That once we know the surge impedance loading and the transmission, that unit of surge impedance loading will be what? Unit of surge impedance loading will be watt. So how much watt we will get in terms of surge impedance loading, that is the economic power transfer capability of the transmission line. That means if we will transmit the power at this SIL level, so what happens, there no compensation is needed to make sending end voltage and receiving end voltage equal. That means if we have a surge transmitting the power at SIL level, we don't spend any extra amount on the cost of compensation. So that means power transfer cost will be less if we are transmitting the power at SIL level. So that's why we should know what is the SIL level of the transmission line, so that we always have to load the transmission line at SIL. If the load is not there, still we have to load the transmission line at SIL by transferring the load to some another bus, so that transmission line always will be loaded at SIL. It should not be less than SIL or should not be more than SIL. So for that we need the SIL, which is important factor in case of transmission line. So let's see the transmission line of our panel in details. So this is the transmission line section. As you can see, this is the whole panel which we will use to do the experiment. And in this whole panel, this section is nothing but the transmission line. And if you will see the transmission line, then you can see this R1, L1, C1, C2. This is unit 1 of 80 km line. This is unit 2 of 80 km line. And this is similarly an unit 3, unit 4 of 80 km line. So to make 400 km transmission line, we have to short circuit all. We have to short circuit each 80 km. We have to connect in series in each 80 km. So as you can see, this is the capacitor terminal 1 and this is capacitor terminal 2, and similarly this is RL terminal 1, RL terminal 2. So to make this pi section also, we have to short circuit this terminal with this and this terminal with this, so that this will be pi section of the unit 1. And similarly this means this terminal to this terminal and this terminal to this terminal, so that this will be another pi section. Then to connect these two pi section, we have to connect these two terminal. So in this way, this transmission line will be connected and it will converted to 80 km of 5 section to 400 km transmission line. We have to connect this terminal as well as you have to connect this terminal. This terminal you have to short circuit, also this terminal you have to short circuit, also this terminal you have to short circuit. Similarly, this terminal also you have to short circuit, this terminal also you have to short circuit. Then this 80 km line will be connected to make a 400 km transmission line. And what are the extra things are there inside the panel, we just have to see before doing the experiment. That we have a Variac 1, which is nothing but a auto transformer, and input is given internally, and I am telling you input is given internally, and the output two options are there. For this sending end transformer, we can give 220 to this one, and we can give 110 to this one. That depends which we will use. Because our transmission line is 400 km 220 kV transmission line, so that's why we are giving 220 volt, and 220 volt is significant to 220 kV of the real transmission line. So that's why you have to connect these two terminals. And after that we are having the sending end transformer, and after that sending end transformer we are having the circuit breaker, which after turning the circuit breaker, from the sending end voltage will come to the transmission line. So the circuit breaker 1 is used to turn on the or switch, the circuit breaker 1 is used to switch the sending end transformer and the transmission line. And also we are having a power analyzer which is connected internally, and in the measurement section if you will see, this is the power analyzer which is connected internally, and this is connected in the sending end. So as we know, the first power analyzer is connected in the sending end of the transmission line. As you can see, this symbol shows the power analyzer is connected, and that is in the sending end. This is internally it is connected. We don't need to connect here to measure the sending end parameters. Directly this analyzer will tell you the sending end parameters. And we are having an impedance relay which is not useful for this experiment. We are having the overcurrent and R4 relay which is also not useful for this experiment. Then after that we are having the transmission line. This is the transmission line model of 400 km. Then after the transmission line last 80 kilometers, so this is coming to another terminal. So from here we can use the compensation, or after that there is a circuit breaker is there. After that the load terminals are there. Here we have to connect the load. So in this case we need to connect the load in this experiment. So this RLC unit 1 and RLC unit 2 will be useful to connect the this terminal as a load, because RLC unit 1 and RLC unit 2 will be used, and that terminal also is applicable as a compensation terminals, because right now this RLC unit 1 and RLC unit 2 will use for the compensation, not for the load. So because we have to do the voltage profile with compensation, also we have to do voltage profile without compensation. So in that case, with compensation we have to connect the compensation terminals to at these two terminal, and without compensation what we have to do, we have just have to turn up the circuit breaker. So if you are turning up the circuit breaker, so what happens that the transmission line is becoming without compensation, and if you are turning on the circuit breaker, then the transmission line is connected to the RLC unit 1 and 2, which is nothing but the compensation unit. This RLC unit 1 and 2 can be the load, it can be used as the load box, also can be used as the compensation box. So right now if we will connect the compensation at these two terminal, then we have to open the connection to make it without compensation. So to run in to do the experiment in one run, so what we have to do, directly we have to connect the compensation terminals after the circuit breaker, so that after turning on the circuit breaker it will become with compensation, and after turning off circuit breaker it will become without compensation. So these are the transmission line, and as well as this is the power analyzer to measure voltage at each segment or at each 80 km. We have to connect this V1 and V2 terminal to these terminals, like V1 and V2. Similarly V1 and V2. So V1 V2 is the voltage terminal of the power analyzer. So here we have to measure the voltage. So these two terminals will come to these two terminals to measure voltage across this segment. Similarly voltage across this segment, we have to connect these two terminals to here. On these two terminals we can use here as a voltmeter to measure the voltage across this segment. That means we can use the power analyzer as a voltmeter right now. I will tell you what is the power analyzer in the next slide. Right now we are using the power analyzer as a voltmeter, and a specific voltmeter also available, which is only a voltmeter. We can use this voltmeter to measure the voltage at any terminal. So we will use wherever we require a voltmeter, we can use this as a voltmeter, this as a voltmeter, this as a voltmeter, this as a voltmeter, and this power analyzer can also be used as ammeter if you use these two terminal. This power analyzer can be used as ammeter if you use these two terminal, but this only can be useful for the voltmeter, this can be used for the ammeter. As you can see, ammeter is written, that I will show you in the next slide. So if you will see the specification of the transmission line which we are having in the unit or in this experiment which we are going to use, if you will see the specification of the sending end transformer, their input is 0, 110 and 220. Tappings are there for 110 volt and 220 volt input is given to the sending end transformer, and secondary is fixed to 220 volt and its VA rating is 1250. This is the 1.25 kVA transformer. Similarly, its receiving end transformer is there, so this is the receiving end transformer, but this receiving end transformer is not useful for our experiment. This receiving end transformer is not useful for our experiment. For different experiment, this will be useful. For our this experiment, which is based, we will study the transmission line, that is, we will study the voltage profile. So here up to this we will use, this part we will not use in this experiment, but this rating is this one. So next we have a 5 section of 80 kilometer and its rating is this L rating. L1 is rating is 35 millihenry, 5 ampere maximum, and this resistance is 2.6 ohm and the capacitance is 1.6 ohm. And if we will see the line parameters, their R is this much ohm per kilometer and the L is this much millihenry per kilometer and capacitance is farad per kilometer, and this is selectable. That means you can have 3 numbers of capacitance. So this switches which is available here is useful to select the capacitance of different value. So as per our requirement, whether we have to make a 220 kV transmission line or we have to make the 400 kilometer or more 220 kilometer, like that. So depending on that, we can change the value of capacitance, because 400 kilometer transmission line, but depending on the height of the tower to the ground, the capacitance also will vary. So like that, we have 3 values of capacitance. In that way, you can simulate the transmission line into 3 types of capacitance. So next, if we will see for 400 kilometer how much resistance we are getting, that is 13 ohm, and for the inductance we are getting 175 millihenry, and in the capacitance we are getting 6 selectable as per this switch terminals. So this is the control or the switch unit, switch section, where the position or switches are there to turn on the circuit breaker 1. This is the switches to turn on the circuit breaker 1. Here if you press the green button, circuit breaker 1 will on. If you press the red button, circuit breaker 1 will off. Similarly, if you place a green button in the CB2, then this CB2 will on, and red button CB2 will off. So in this way, this CB1 and CB2 will be useful in this experiment, and these all switches are not useful in this experiment. So next we need to see the RLC unit. So if we'll see, this is the RLC unit and this is the RLC unit terminals. We have to use these terminals as a compensation across the terminals or across the receiving end of the transmission line. And if we'll see the specification of the switches, as you can see, the first row which is zoomed here, the first row is nothing but the resistor, and the middle row is switches of the capacitor, and this last row is the switches of the inductor. As you can see, these terminals is the terminals of the resistor, and these terminals the terminals of the capacitor. This I can show you in the section of transmission line. As you can see here, if you will see these terminals, this is the R terminals, similarly this is the L terminals, and this is the C terminals. So we have to connect as per our circuit diagram to make the compensation unit. So and each R is variable and each L is variable, each C is variable, and which variable switches are given here. So which I am showing you. So the RLC unit R switches are this one, C switches are this one, L switches are this one, and this 3 RLC of RLC unit 1 and this all 3 switches of RLC unit 2. 2 switches is this one and 1 switches is this one. And if we will see the specification, then RLC unit 1 switch 1 if we will turn on, this will be 2 position are there. First position we are having 5 kilo ohm of resistance, which is having 10 watt of power, and 10 kilo ohm resistance and 5 watt of power. Similarly, if we will turn on switch 2, that will be 2k 4 ohm of resistance and 20 watt of power. Similarly, switch 3 this one, switch 4 605 ohm, switch 5 302 ohm, and for inductor switch 1 7.5 VA, switch 2 15 VA, switch 3 15 VA, switch 4 30 VA, switch 5 45 VA. So like that, if we will change the switch terminals, then the corresponding value of VA will be added in the transmission line. That much will be the compensation if we will use this RLC unit 1 and 2 as the compensation terminals. Similarly, RLC unit 2 having this sort of values for each switches position. So if we as you can see, this bottom side I will tell you, will do the experiment. You will turn on the switch, then we are having 2k of R here. Similarly, 9 switch to 969, so like that, switch 5 141 like that is available, and inductor value also we are having this much inductor value 15 VA, and we can go up to maximum 10 millihenry, which is unity power factor. And also in the capacitor section we are having 1.2 microfarad to 12.5 microfarad of capacitance variation is available in this RLC unit 2. Next comes to measurement section. So in this panel, if you see the measurement section, we are having power analyzer. As I told you, this is the power analyzer and this is the power analyzer, and this is also another power analyzer. So 4 power analyzer is available here, and this is voltmeter is available, and here ammeter is available. Here the time interval meter is available. When we will simulate any fault, that time we need to use this time interval meter, and there is CTPTs are available. If we need to measure higher current through this power analyzer, we have to use the CT or the PT. So these are the terminals available, because this power analyzer is connected internally at the sending end of the transmission line. So here no terminals is available externally, but this the 3 power analyzer is having 3 a terminal is open to outside. So here this voltage terminal and these are the current terminals. Power analyzer means we need to give voltage and current both, then it will calculate all electrical parameters of the voltage and current. So here if we will use this as a voltmeter, then we have to use these 2 terminal. If we have to use this as ammeter, we have to use these 2 terminal. If you have to use this as a voltmeter as well as ammeter as well as a power meter, then you have to use this voltage and ammeter both. In that case, that means this 1 ammeter can be useful to measure so many parameters. I will tell you in the next slide how what are the facilities. I will tell you in the next slide, but still then user see, this is the power analyzer and this can measure voltage for our experiment, because we need a voltmeter at each segment of the transmission line to perform or to get the voltage profile of the transmission line. So next see the analyzer. So if we will see this power analyzer, this is the DSP based meter, means what is, its input is voltage and current, and this is of 3 phase. In our experiment or in this panel, only single phase terminal and rest phase are kept opened inside, and only 1 phase terminals are given in the outside. So that means this will take only voltage and current it can take voltage and current of all phases, but right now in this experiment we will give voltage and current of only a single phase, but it can take voltage and current of all three phases. In return, it will give all three phase line voltage. We can also measure all three phase phase voltage. We can measure three phase line current. Also you can measure three phase phase current. Similarly, you can measure power factor of each phase, then kilowatt of each phase, and kVAR of each phase, and energy also you can able to measure. We can able to measure TSD. So like that, 53 parameters of the electrical unit we can able to measure using this CBM energy power analyzer. This is the model number CBM energy 96 circuiter made power analyzer. So that means this analyzer, this is generally available for the panel mounting, and this analyzer can measure all voltage current of all three phase. A single meter can measure all. And how it calculates? It only takes the instantaneous value of the voltage and current. Then it calculates all the parameters, all the electrical parameters using some techniques. So that's why we need a DSP to do all those techniques. So that's why this is a DSP based power analyzer. So this is the connection diagram, and as you can see in this diagram, we are having the sending end transformer which is fed from a auto transformer, and output of the sending end transformer is connected to the transmission line through the circuit breaker 1, and similarly circuit breaker 2 is connected at the receiving end of the transmission line. And these red lines in the circuit diagram showing that we have to connect this externally with a wire. And as you can see, these capacitors like C1, C2 we have to connect in this R1 and L1 point, so that this will be pi model of the first 80 km transmission line. Similarly, second, third, fourth, fifth, and we can make this first, second in series by connecting this line and this line. And also you have to connect the voltmeter across each segment of the transmission line, and the power analyzer which is connected internally. We'll see in the panel that this analyzer connected internally, no need to connect any equipment here, but this voltmeter we have to connect externally. And here at the secondary or at the output of circuit breaker 2, we have to connect the shunt compensation, and the shunt compensation is like RL in series and C in capacitance. Wherever we require to reduce the voltage, we have to turn on the RL compensation, and wherever we want to increase the voltage, there we have to turn on the C compensation. So this RLC compensation circuit will be connected across this, and these two RLC unit will be in parallel to provide more compensation to the transmission line. So let's go to the experiment table, and we will connect the circuit as per the circuit diagram. So as per experiment connection diagram and as per our objective, we have to connect a 400 km transmission line using this 80 km transmission line available in this panel. So in this panel, if you will see, then this segment where C1, C2, R1, L1 is there, this segment is nothing but first 80 km transmission line, second 80 km, third 80 km, fourth 80 km, fifth 80 km. So in this way, 5 number of 80 km lines is available. So if we join all together, we will get 400 km long transmission line. So first of all, if we will see, then we have to connect this C1 and C2 across this R1 and L1, so that this section will become a pi section of first 80 km transmission line. So we have to connect this R1 to here, and we have to connect this L1 to here. So this became first 80 kilometer transmission line. Similarly, this is, if you are connecting this C3 and C4, then this is becoming second segment 80 kilometer transmission line. Similarly, this is, if you are connecting C5 and C6, this is becoming third segment 80 kilometer transmission line. Similarly, this is fourth segment transmission line. Similarly, this is last 80 kilometer or last segment transmission line we just have connected. So right now you have connected 80 kilometer transmission line. We have connected the capacitor to this R1 L1 to make first 80 kilometer transmission line. Similarly, second 80 kilometer, third 80 kilometer, and fourth 80 kilometer, and fifth 80 kilometer. Right now we will connect this all 80 kilometer in series, so that it will become 400 kilometer transmission line. First of all, we have to connect the neutral. So the neutral of first segment I am connected to neutral of the second segment, neutral of the third segment, neutral of the fourth segment. Similarly, if I will see neutral of the fourth segment, and this will be neutral of the third segment. So similarly, neutral of the fifth segment and neutral of the fourth segment. And right now I have to connect here phase of the first segment out, you have to connect phase of the second segment in. Similarly, phase of the second segment out, phase of the third segment in. Similarly, phase of the third segment, phase of the fourth segment in, phase of the fourth segment, and phase of the fifth segment in. And here the last segment, that means receiving end, is connected to circuit breaker input through this red wire. Similarly, neutral is connected to this red wire, and here also the sending end transformer is connected to the sending end of the transmission line through this red and black wire, and this sending end of the transformer is connected to this sending end of the transmission line. That means sending end transformer to the sending end of the transmission line is connected via the circuit breaker 1, and here is the circuit breaker turn on and turn off switch. Similarly, another circuit breaker is there. From after that we will connect the compensation terminal, so that when we will turn on the circuit breaker, compensation will connected, and when we will disconnect or turn off the circuit breaker, then circuit breaker will be disconnected. So right now come to this one, compensation unit. So in the compensation unit, we have to connect RL in series and C in parallel with the RL. Similarly, we have to connect two compensation in parallel, and that two compensation parallel compensation have to connect across this CB2 out. So first of all, we have to connect this R and L in series. So R and L is connected in series. Now R and L of RLC unit 2 connected in series, and this C right now we are connecting in parallel. So C of RLC unit 2 is connected in parallel with RL circuit of RLC unit 2. Similarly, C of RLC unit 1 is I am connecting in parallel with RLC unit 1. Next, we have to connect these two in parallel. So to connect these two in parallel, we have to connect this terminal, that means this RLC unit neutral to RLC unit 1 neutral, and similarly we can connect phase of the RLC unit 1 to, or from this bottom side, phase of RLC unit 1 to phase of the RLC unit 2. So right now these two are connected in parallel. Then using this long wire we have to connect the compensation, one at here and one at here. So this compensation out will be connected, compensation out phase and compensation out neutral, or this is also a neutral, across this receiving end of the transformer. So phase I have to connect. So I have connected the phase of the RLC unit 1 to this phase of the receiving end. Similarly, the neutral of the RLC unit 1 I have to connect neutral of the receiving end. So that means I have connected the compensation. Right now, to measure voltage I have to connect respective voltmeter across each segment. So starting from the receiving end, if I will connect the receiving end voltage, then I will use this voltmeter as the receiving end voltmeter, phase, neutral. Similarly, fourth segment I will use this one as a voltmeter. V1 and V2 is there. V1 I am taking as phase, V2 I am taking this V1, V2. V1 are taking as phase, V2 as taken neutral. So this is neutral and I am connecting here. So right now this voltage will be measured by this power analyzer. Similarly, another voltage, this is a third segment voltage, and this will be measured by the power analyzer. Similarly, third power analyzer voltage will be measured from the second segment. So this power analyzer will measure second segment voltage. So this is the neutral and I am connecting across here. And the last second segment is left because no voltmeter is available. This power analyzer acting as right now voltmeter, this power analyzer is connected in the sending end of the transmission line internally, so don't need to connect any voltmeter across this one. Only you have to connect voltmeter across this one, but right now we are having only 4 voltmeter available, but we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 voltmeter. So in this process of the experiment, we have to turn up this one circuit breaker or turn up the supply. Then we will change this terminal which is connected to this third segment. We will change this terminal from third segment to second segment. Then only we can able to measure voltage across the second segment to get the voltage profile of this transmission line. So this is all about the connection, and we will go to the procedure and there we will see how we will perform the experiment. So follow the procedure. First of all, I have to turn on the panel, and as you can see, after turning on the panel, here this power analyzer backlight is glowing and here 0 and 0 is showing. So our first procedure is open circuit the receiving end by putting CB2 off. So as you can see, already I have connected the compensation unit after circuit breaker 2. So whenever I will turn up the circuit breaker, the line is in open circuited. So only I have to turn on circuit breaker 1 to give the voltage to the transmission line from the sending end transformer. So already this is in open circuited condition because we have connected the compensation unit after CB2. So CB2 off means transmission line is in open circuited position. So next is turn on CB1. So I have to turn on CB1. So here this is the switch. After that I can see after pressing this one, CB is turned on, and our next procedure is adjust the sending end voltage to 220. So right now with the help of this variac I have to increase the voltage and I have to see that should be 220. So 121, 132, 151, 59, 220. Okay, little less, 220. Okay, little more. So it is 220. So here it is showing 220 and the receiving end voltage is 244. So here you can see there is a 24 volt difference at the receiving end. We are expecting it should be 220, but due to this no load, which is nothing but the Faraday effect, due to this we are getting 20 volt rise in voltage at the receiving end, and if you will see in the real transmission line, that will be 20 kilovolt rise in voltage. So we are getting this much voltage, and we have connected the power analyzer at each segment or at each 80 km of the transmission line. So you will see the next process, that is measure voltage at the each 80 km. So already we have applied 220 volt. Right now I will measure at each 80 km. So this will be without compensation. That means compensation is not connected. Transmission line is open circuited, and we will able to measure voltage at each 80 km. So the sending end voltage is 220 and receiving end is 244. So let's take the observation. So if you will see in the observation, so sending end voltage is 220 volt, receiving end voltage is 244 volt, and at first 80 km we are observing as 200 and so here the voltmeter power analyzer we have connected at first 80 km. We have changed the terminal already. So we have changed from segment 2 to segment 1, and this power analyzer is showing voltage at first 80 km and second 80 km voltage, as you can see. So second 80 km is not connected to any voltmeter. So right now we are not measuring this voltage. We can able to measure this one and this one. So this one it is showing 228. So this is 227 volt. So as you can see, this is 227 volt and this is first 80 km voltage. So second 80 km voltage we are not measuring right now. Third 80 km voltage is 239. So third 80 km voltage is 239 volt, and fourth 80 km voltage is 242 volt. So this is 242 volt, and fifth 80 km is equal to receiving end, this is 240 volt. So right now we will measure voltage at second 80 km. So second 80 km is right now it is not connected to any voltmeter. So we have to turn off the circuit breaker. That means we are turning off the voltage power supply, and we are changing the voltmeter terminal from first 80 km to second 80 km, so that we can able to measure voltage at second 80 km. And right now it is showing me 234.9, that means 235. So here I can write this is 235 volt. So as you can see how voltage is increasing from the sending end to receiving end without compensation. 220 at sending end, and first 80 km it is 227, next 80 35, 39, 42 and 44. So like this voltage is increasing. So now we will go for with compensation circuit. So if we will see the procedure, it will be introduce the shunt compensation equipment by turning CB2 and adjust the R, L and C until receiving end voltage reaches 220 volt. So I have to turn on the circuit breaker 2. So after turning on circuit breaker 2, I have to turn on the R, or I have to adjust this RLC to make the sending end voltage to be equal to receiving end voltage. So that means here voltage at receiving end is 243. We have to reduce the voltage to 220. So that means to reduce the voltage we need to use RL compensation. C compensation will be needed when we have to increase the voltage. So right now we have to decrease the voltage. So I have to use the RL compensation because R is connected in series with the L. So I have to switch on both R and L. So as you can see, first unit RLC unit 1, I have turned on all the switches, but still voltage is 233. We have to reduce it again. That means we have to use an RLC unit 2 because RLC unit 1 is not sufficient to give that much compensation where the sending end will be equal to receiving end voltage. So right now I am turning on RLC unit 2 inductors with the help with the switch of resistor. So I am turning on both resistor and inductors, and if I will see here, I am getting 222 and it is okay. So little okay. Two hundred and 22 okay. So as you can see, after turning on this one R and L, after adjusting some values of switch, I can able to get at receiving end 216 and at the sending end 216. Sending end also reduced, that because due to the R connected in series with L, because R is consuming some amount of power, due to that some voltage is reduced from the sending end. So again you have to increase the sending end voltage to 220, so that our transmission line always you have to energize at 220. So I am increasing the sending end voltage to 220. So whenever when I am increasing this to 220, that is the sending end voltage, receiving end also increased to 220. That means compensation is applied so such a way that sending end is becoming equal with the receiving end voltage. So right now if we will follow the procedure, we have to measure the voltage at each 80 km. Right now we have to measure the voltage at each 80 km, and this is this case with compensation. So that means our sending end voltage is 220 volt, receiving end voltage we got 220 volt by the help of compensation. And if we measure voltage at first 80 km, so right now in the first case we have changed the voltmeter from first 80 km to second 80 km. So first 80 km will be left blank right now, and second 80 km voltage this power analyzer is showing, that is 225. So second 80 km voltage is 225 volt, and third 80 km voltage is 227 volt, and fourth 80 km voltage is 225 volt, and similarly fifth 80 km is nothing but the receiving end, that is 220 volt. So I have to measure voltage at first 80 km. So to measure voltage at first 80 km, I have to turn off the circuit breaker 1 and 2 both, and I have to open the voltmeter terminal from second 80 km to first 80 km. That means this power analyzer which was measuring voltage at second 80 km, right now that voltmeter or that power analyzer will measure voltage at first 80 km. And if I will turn on the circuit breaker 1 and 2 both with the same situation, I am getting 225 volt. So 220, let us see, 220 4.9 volt I am getting. So 224 point, because voltage somewhat it is reduced, increased to 221. So I have to reduce it to 220. So keeping always we have to see that sending end voltage always to be 220. So with this 220 we have to measure the voltage. So after turning off the circuit breaker, when I turn on again, so voltage somewhat increased, that is the supply voltage somewhat increased. So I again with the help of Variac I adjusted and I fixed the voltage to 220, and right now it is showing 223.5. So instead we have to write 223.5. So as you can see, this voltage is increasing from 220 to 23, 25, 27, again decreasing 25 and 20. So like this we are getting the voltage profile of the line with and without compensation. So we have to turn off this one and we have to go for next procedure, that is ABCD parameter calculation. So if we will see this procedure, so first is we have to open circuit the receiving end. So as you can see already, if I will not turn on the circuit breaker 2, the transmission line will be in open condition. So only I have to turn on circuit breaker 1. Okay. So if you will see a next procedure, that is adjust the sending end voltage to 220 volt or less. So here we have to adjust the sending end voltage to 220 volt or less. So already we have applied 220 volt. So directly we will turn on the circuit breaker 1. So 220 volt already we have set. So it will come 222. So right now voltage is increased because we have disconnected the compensation, and due to the compensation load is right now not present. So voltage is somewhat increased. So right now it is in open circuited. So I have to reduce the voltage. So I reduced it and I made to 220. So keeping this 220 as per procedure 220 or less, so I fixed it to 220. What we have to do, if you will see the procedure, that is note the receiving end voltage, receiving end current, receiving end power from the power analyzer. So this is the power analyzer. As I told you earlier that this power analyzer can measure sending end voltage. So right now it is 220. Then if I will press this switch, it will tell me the sending end current, that is 0.73. I can note down the reading also, and power is 2 watt. So if I note down this one, this is 220, current 0.734 and power is 2 watt. So if I will go for the next procedure, that is note down the short circuit the receiving end and pass a current of 3.44 or less, and then note down the voltage, current and power from the power analyzer. So for that I have to give current less than 3.44. So for that I just have to reduce some voltage, anything below 220. So probably current will be less than 3.44. So let us see, and before that I have to turn off the circuit breaker, and here I have to short circuit the sending end. So what I am doing, I am opening this wire, and with the help of this wire after CB2 I am doing a short circuit. So after CB2 I am doing a short circuit. So when I will turn on CB2, the transmission line receiving end will be short circuited. So turning on CB1, and right now I have applied 180 volt approximately, and if I will turn on circuit breaker 1 and if I will see the current, so current it is 2.71. So this is short circuited because CB2 is turned on and current is 2.71. So that is the short circuit current. So if I will write the observation, that is 2.71, and if I will see the power by pressing this switch, I am getting 140 volt. So 40 watt, 140 watt. So our power is 140 watt, and the voltage, that is nothing but the short circuit voltage, which we have applied approximately 180. So let us see, it is 176. So our short circuit voltage is 176, because before doing short circuit I have applied 182. So after short circuit voltage is reduced to 176, that is nothing but a short circuit voltage, that because of the loading current of the transmission line. That means when the transmission line is short circuited, it is carrying some current from the sending end. Due to that current, voltage somewhat reduced from 182 to 176. So our observation, we got 176, 2.71, 140 watt in the short circuit, and 220.734 and 2 watt in the open circuit. So in the next, what we have to do, we have to do the calculation from the observation what we have taken. We have to calculate the ABCD parameter, we have to calculate the surge impedance, and we have to calculate the surge impedance loading, and from the surge impedance loading we can predict that how much power we can transmit from the sending end to receiving end with a minimum cost of transmission. That means with a minimum cost means there will not be any expenditure for the transmission compensation. So compensation cost will be near to 0 if you are transmitting the line at SIL. if you are transmitting the power at SIL. So let's see the calculation part. So we have got these observations that without compensation we got how voltage is increasing, and with compensation we are able to maintain the sending end and receiving end equal. And also in the ABCD parameter case we got the open circuit parameters, where 220 volt is the open circuit voltage, so open circuit current, open circuit power. Similarly short circuit voltage, short circuit current and short circuit power. So right now if we will go for the calculation, so as you can see this ZOC is equal to VOC by IOC, that is 220 by 0.734, this is 220 by 0.734, and it is coming to 99.72 ohm magnitude, and its angle we got 89.29 degree. So in total ZOC equal to this much magnitude, this much angle. Similarly ZSC we got this much magnitude and this much angle. So if we go to calculate the ABCD, then A will be ZOC by ZOC minus ZSC, and after calculating we got 1.364 angle minus 6.23. Similarly B we got this amount, and C we got this amount, and D equal to A, so we got this amount. So if we will calculate the surge impedance using this ABCD, we got 139.52 ohm is the surge impedance, and if we will calculate the propagation constant, it will be this one divided by L, actually which I have shown you propagation constant lambda into L, but propagation constant is lambda, and that will be cos H inverse A divided by L. So cos H inverse A we got 0.853 angle minus 10.664 divided by 400 kilometer. So we are getting 0.0021 milli. This is the propagation constant. And similarly surge impedance loading for this 220 kV transmission line model will be V square by Z0, and after doing we got 96.8 megawatt of power we can able to transmit without using any compensation circuit. So if you will see the voltage profile, as you can see this yellow curve is the voltage profile of without compensation, and as you can see without compensation from the sending end means 0 kilometer, from the sending end up to the receiving end, that is 400 kilometer, how voltage is increasing. And when we have incorporated a compensation unit at the receiving end, as you can see, and we maintained the receiving end and sending end equal, so that this voltage became 220 at the receiving end, means this 244 reduced to 220. But still you can see that in middle of the transmission line we are getting higher voltage, which is more than 220 volt, so that is 227. So in real it will come 227 kilovolt. And if this much deviation, that is 7 kV deviation, is more than our permissible limit, then we have to add an extra compensation in this part. That means the transmission line will be, in that case profile will be like this and like this, means 220, then it will come and again 220, then again it will 220. But right now we have compensated at the sending end, so in this way we got the voltage profile. So if we will see the conclusion, we can see that this 400 km transmission line is capable to transmit 96 megawatt of power without expenditure of power loss in compensation circuit. And from the voltage profile we can conclude the location of the compensation throughout the transmission line. As I told you, after drawing the profile, we know that here voltage is more, so we compensated here. Still if voltage will be more at any point, we have to compensate it at there. So in this way we can able to find the location of the compensation throughout the transmission line. So this is all about the experiment. I hope you will like this video. So in the next class we will do our next experiment. Thank you.